Hello, everyone. Elizabeth Talbot here from the Jesus 101 Biblical Institute. I want to start by telling you a story of something I did when I was 5 years old. I was in kindergarten, and the teacher gave us a bird that we needed to glue together, put the wings on and stuff. And I took it home, and I wanted to be excellent, so I worked really hard on it. When I came back the next day, the teacher said, "I'm sorry, that bird is glued backwards." I felt so bad, and I didn't know what to do, and something rose up in me. I waited for the break time when everybody left the classroom. We were 41 kids in that kindergarten class. And when it was empty, the whole classroom, I went to the seat next to me, and I took their bird and I broke it into many pieces, hoping that that would make me feel better, but it didn't. You know, if I wasn't going to have my bird right, nobody was going to have the bird right. And I tried the next seat, and I broke their bird. And then I went to the other one, and will you believe me if I tell you that I broke all 41 birds into pieces that day? When the teacher came back, "What happened here?" she says. And I tried to explain, that I was trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But, at 5 years old, I didn't know that that's insanity. So I had tried so hard to feel better, and I wasn't. She didn't have pity on me. She sent me home to make 41 birds, which I did for 2 whole weeks. But something happened during those 2 weeks. My mother sat next to me all 2 weeks. And it was my first encounter with a love that is greater than my failures. Now I know the verse that says, where sin abounded, grace abounded even more. But I didn't then. But my mother's love was greater than my failures. And that's how I learned about God's love. And today I want to talk to you about that you are loved no matter how dark your detour has been or how great your sin. Jesus told a story that we're going to talk about today. And he told it to some people that were complaining that he received everybody and that he seemed to love everybody. And Jesus told this story because, in fact, he did love everybody. So come with me to Luke chapter 15. We have 3 stories in that chapter that Jesus told in that at that moment when they were complaining that he loved and received everybody. But I'm going to talk to you about the third one. And it starts with an ungrateful son. Chapter 15, verse 11. And Jesus said, a man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of the estate that falls to me." So he divided the wealth between them. It's very interesting because you never did ask for your inheritance ahead of time. As a matter of fact, if you did ask for your inheritance, you were actually saying to your father, "I wish you were dead." The father still divided the inheritance. And right after he got the money, we are told on verse 13, and not many days later, the younger son gathered everything together and went on a journey to a distant country. That was his motive. He wanted freedom from his father. He didn't want to have anything to do with him. Well, we are told he wasted his money in all kinds of things. Later on, we're even told that he wasted in prostitutes. But then he gets hit with 2 simultaneous disasters. He runs out of money, his inheritance money, and there's a famine in the land. So he starts to be in want, in need. He hires himself out, if you continue the story in Luke 15, he hires himself out to take care of pigs. And then he wishes he could eat what the pigs are eating. And then all of a sudden, there's a pivot in the story. He comes to his senses. Verse 17 starts, Luke 15, verse 17 says, when he came to his senses, that's the pivot. He said, "How many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread? I'm dying here with hunger." And then he makes a decision. "I will go up and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired men.'" He says, "I'm going to ask my dad for a job. All his employees are doing so good. They have food And here I am starving. And of course, I don't deserve to be his son anymore. I have broken more than 41 birds. And he made a little speech. Okay, please make me your employee. But he didn't understand a father's love or a mother's love. The love of a parent is greater than our failures. And so when he comes back with his little speech ready, he finds that his father has a response that he wasn't expecting. Verse 20, he got up and came to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him. You see, his father had been looking for him every single day since he got lost in that distant country. While he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion. Look at all the responses of his father. He saw him, felt compassion for him, run to him, embraced him, and kissed him. All these things the father did. Saw him and run to him. But that wasn't the only thing. He was feeling compassion. He embraced him. He kissed him. And the Greek word there is like he kissed him a lot. He continuously kissed him like, finally, my son is here. And then he gave him 3 gifts. The son tried to say, Father, I'm not worthy to become. Shh. Wait, I have something for you, says the father. And he starts giving orders. Verse 22, the father said to his slaves, quickly, bring out the best robe, put it on him, put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. These are symbolic gifts that are very, very important. I have them here. The sandals, you see, were only for the children of the house. The slaves and the employees didn't wear sandals. So the fact that he's getting sandals means you are not going to be a second-class citizen in this family. You are being received as a son. You are my son. The robe usually meant the best robe was the father's robe. It was cover him, cover his shame. All that he went through, cover it with the robe. And the third one, the ring, usually a signet ring. I have a signet ring here. This is a more modern one. This is from Queen Elizabeth. But you would have a signet ring to sign papers for the family. So you would put it in wax and the drawing or the letter would stay there, and it meant authority to do business. And this son that has taken a detour, broken more than 41 birds, gets the sandals, your son, you are covered, and you get authority to sign for the family. You see, God's love for us is much greater than our failures. He is waiting passionately for you, no matter how dark your detour, how great your sin may have been. Yeah, his love surpasses our failures. As a matter of fact, Jesus at the cross paid for all your mistakes. That's why our logo has a heart with a cross in it, because his love made him die in your place so that you could live free from shame and guilt. So remember this, God's love is greater than your failure. You are loved. God wants you back. So remember, you are loved in a way that surpasses your failure. So believe it, embrace it, and accept his sacrifice because you are